everyone, welcome back to Projector Room. It's show 200. Hey! Whoa! Hey. 200 shows. 2016 we started. Incidentally, thank you very much to Aidan Bell for having put that jolly celebratory trumpeted fanfare in there. That was good fun, and thank you, Aidan.
Nice one, Aidan. Cheers.
Allan and Gareth, you're with us again for our 200th show.
I know.
Wow,
when did I join you? Which show was it, or roughly?
You joined us in show 24.
Wow. Okay, so actually quite early then.
2018 you joined us. And I looked up that show. I looked up that show and it said it was the 24th of October 2018 and we called it Better Call Saul, which is appropriate.
Wow.
On the show we talked about Fargo Series 3, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, Better Call Saul, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, the film, Outlaw King, Narcos, which you were very keen on, The Cookie, and
Rookie.
The Rookie, yeah, The Rookie. And in the final curtain, we said goodbye to Quentin Kenihan. I don't even remember who that is. Scott Wilson and Danny Liner. So, yeah. 7 years on, you joined us. 7 years ago, and we hadn't long been going when you joined us, as you say, 24 shows in.
Yeah.
However, every silver lining has a cloud, and you have something to tell us, Allan.
Yes, I grow weary of your tiresome company and have elected to move on. So, yeah, no, just that 200 just seemed like a natural point of departure. I need to concentrate a little bit for a few months at least on trying to rebuild some financial and career opportunities that really do need addressed. And at this stage, that does require a bit of extra focus. So I'm stepping back, and I would like to thank you both and our lovely audience for a lot of great banter and good fun that we've had together. And I've learnt a lot in terms of listening to you guys and your taste in film and lack of taste in film, respectively. And also just having good banter, kicking a few ideas around, and it's been good. I've been exposed to a lot of new material, and I've thoroughly enjoyed your company. Very, very much. And I'm hoping that even though the honeymoon period is over and most of the romantic sentiment has dissipated, that we can still be chums. And if you're up for it, might I be so bold as to pop my head around the door for a bit of banter with you as things go forward? I understand if you're heartbroken and just kind of say, no,
shove off. Yeah.
I broke up with you.
Of course you can.
Well, we're not going to close the door on you, Allan, but there is a cat flap.
Yeah, which is more than I deserve. Anyway, thank you both. It's been a great run, and I will definitely be staying in touch with you both.
It's been great having you on the show. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You've been a keystone to what we've been doing. And
bless you.
Gareth and I will have to talk about how we fill that gap or not fill the gap and how we move forward. So,
when does your 7-picture deal with Warner Brothers? When are you released from that contract?
Yeah. Any thoughts, Gareth?
Well, yes. My cat is in the room, and it farted earlier, so I thought that perhaps that would be a sensible place. Yeah. However, Ted, I would like to take a moment just to thank Allan and clap my hands for all of his contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Allan. It's been an honour to talk with you, and I hope that your career just blossoms.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Great things are coming for you next year. So,
that's lovely.
Seems like a tidy time for you to leave because you don't want to be attached to this raggedy old podcast whenever you're walking up the red carpet.
Anyway, thank you very much indeed. Let's boogie on.
So anyway, today is Christmas Eve, and so Santa is on his way this evening, and you can track him as usual on the Google Map thingy, which is a lot of fun. That started already because some people in the world, it's already Christmas for, I suppose. And yes, it just so happens that our 200th show has come in line with the last show of the year, Christmas Eve, and so we've made it a Crimbo Xmas special, and we'll kind of follow the similar format to some degree, but we will waver away when we talk about our favourite Christmassy films and shows and stuff, which we'll come to a bit later. But we'll start off, Gareth, if you don't mind, with your private screening you set us for last time. So take us away with that one.
There's nothing like starting the show with doom and gloom. I happened to notice that a film that I've been wanting to find for a while, because I do love my Russian epics, the likes of Stalker and things like that, and Solaris are wonderful films to sit down and really just want to kill yourself to. So I've been looking for Dead Man's Letters for a long time, because I'd seen pictures of it and I thought, oh, this really would be something, in the Stalker mold that I would love to be able to sit down and enjoy. And it's not one of those big 3-hour things. And I happened to discover it in 4K, no less, on YouTube, running at a 1 hour, 27 minutes. I don't know if that's cut or uncut or what, but I figured we should all just sit down and watch this and then decide if we collectively take our own lives, because this is...
Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Are you sure it wasn't 1 month, 27 days duration?
It felt like it, but this is only a 90-minute movie, and God, you have to work to get through it. It is harsh, it is tough, it is dramatic, it is... Oh, it brings a tear to the eye at one stage as well.
And
I just think it's just it's just so beautifully filmed and made and things. I think the one on YouTube has it might be a German soundtrack to it, but the residual noises and background atmosphere and all are all there as well. So you get the constant hum of machinery and things in the background, and the whistling of wind and all that. So there's nothing really lost in translation. I don't believe. Maybe I should track down the Russian version and possibly watch that as well.
Learn the language.
I didn't notice it was in German. I thought it was in Russian. Shows how observant I am.
No, I thought
maybe
it was
I'm
Russian
wrong.
with English subtitles is what I thought, but I don't speak it. No, I would have heard the German. The one I got was Russian. Yeah.
Okay, right. Maybe it was.
Let me just do the blurb. It's a bleak post-apocalyptic Soviet film about Professor Larson, a physicist surviving underground after a nuclear war, who compulsively writes letters to his unseen son, embodying hope and humanity's struggle for meaning amidst radiation, death and despair, exploring themes of art, love, faith and the senselessness of nuclear annihilation. It contrasts grim survival with profound humanism, showing remnants of culture and compassion as a defiant, albeit fragile, response to total destruction. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Ted. I was about to do that, but yes. I was going to hand it over to you, Ted, because I figured you would be able to steer us forward to how you might think this, because I know you know movies that are of a similar ilk, but from the Western world. Are you familiar with that's Tarkovsky, isn't it? Does Stalker and the likes of those works? Have you seen many Russian epics, even sci-fi epics?
No, I haven't. But it's interesting to have seen this one. It reminded me very much of, in tone of the, what's that thing called? Threads? Yeah, Threads.
Yeah.
Which was I think that was a British film about a similarly kind of derelict post-nuclear situation in the UK and how dreadful it was. This film is just purposefully really boring, dull and dour. It's less of storytelling, really, than point-making about the above, nuclear bombs and what mankind is likely to do to itself, rather than stopping squabbling and ending up destroying the planet. Really slow and dreary. The sepia toning throughout is just tedious, but I guess that paints a picture of these people living underground, and the harrowing and gory scenes shot in places that there are body parts in places, but most of them seem to be outside when they venture out in these horrific suits they were doing. It felt very kind of contrived in a sense, as they tied it up in the credits at the end with Einstein, the writings of Bertrand Russell, with physicists and philosophy and all the rest of it, the meaning of life and death, and it was clearly purposefully bleak, like Threads was. A philosophical quest for meaning, and in a post-apocalyptic world, the tagline said, similar to existentialist or post-humanist thought delivered through the lens of a Soviet sci-fi cinema. The most boring, depressing and drab 90 minutes I've spent watching a film for a long time. So yeah, but it's supposed to be that is the point, and it's supposed to hit you in the face and make you see where this world could be taking us, I suppose. But maybe it went a bit too far. Allan?
Yeah, well, I shared a little bit of your frustration with it, but I think generally I was a wee bit more impressed or gung-ho with it overall. It did definitely take it took a very, very philosophical approach to that stuff, and a lot of it's quite sort of grandiose and philosophical. And that grated on me a little bit, but then I kind of thought, well, hold on, the protagonist is a professor who's curating a museum, and his wife, the entourage are intellectuals. So that it's in character, if you like. It's also a film of its time from a very cultured person. So I guess that's just sort of take that on the chin. Certainly, absolutely on the same page with you regarding how unrelentingly grueling it was, and of course, as you rightly point out, it's by design. It's a very, very grim watch indeed, and I think it did that brilliantly in terms of, the set, the locations, the use of sound. You both touched on, I think, which was really haunting, and these sort of muffled industrial echoes ruminating throughout the old derelict museum basement, and all the aspects of the costume and set locations were terrific. I thought whatever soundscaping and music was very powerful. Mostly I was impressed with the lead role in terms of the acting, which I was just gobsmacked by. It was just seemed to be that the person was experiencing those things, and we were witnessing this person experience it. There didn't seem to be one whiff of performance in there, and that was just incredible. And there were a number of very distressing sequences in it. It's not really a spoiler as such, but there's a sort of one of the core team members just fairly dispassionately makes a little after dinner speech where he says, there's not really much can be done, and thank you for your efforts. I'm away to kill myself, and which he does. Mm-hmm. And then his son goes mad, and that was done with that was truly terrifying. The face of the son as he sort of lost his mind, you could see his mind snap on camera, and it was genuinely horrifying. Because it was genuine. It just seemed to be like, how could anybody put themselves through that? That looked real. That looked like somebody just going beyond the point of no return. And I don't know how they achieved it, because obviously, those sort of high intensity scenes are de rigueur in a film of that type of subject matter. But there was something very, very convincing and compelling. And the other thing that really moved me in it was the children. They were so natural, and they felt so absolutely traumatized and broken. And the last thing that you would, think of as a sort of a Hollywood version of cute children being distressed, or used as kind of emotional leverage in a film like that. They felt like real little kids who were just entirely disconnected from, reality, catatonic, essentially. And that to me, again, just felt utterly believable, and it brought tears to my eyes on a couple of occasions. So, I mean, it was not the thing I was in the mood for at all, but yes, it was grueling. Yes, it had to be. It was absolutely brilliantly well made. And oddly enough, the guy, as we suspected, was indeed a disciple of Tarkovsky, and had worked on Solaris, believe it or not, as a production assistant. So it was nice to see that kind of legacy, because it screams Stalker whenever you're watching it. One other thing, sorry, I will counter Ted's response with a bit more enthusiasm, because there was one establishing shot where the professor's moving out of a basement, and the camera sort of zooms back to frame him around the exterior of the collapsed museum, and you kind of realize how deeply buried he is in this kind of bunker, but it's so ugly and brutal, but it's incredibly beautiful. The texture of the photography and the framing, it's a funny mix. It's a kind of contradiction in terms, but it's an incredibly beautiful film in a sense, and just in terms of like the visuals and the use of texture and lighting and all the rest of it. It's not beautiful. It's not easy to look at, but the visuals are so rich and they're so brilliantly executed. Yeah, it's not a film I'd like to watch again, but I do believe that it was instrumental in helping set up some of those peace talks with Gorbachev and Reagan and things, along with Threads and The Day After that you had mentioned. So I think it's a film that has done some good, and it took them 3 years of script editing to get past the sort of post-Stalinist censors. So it was kind of like a breakthrough of early Gorbachevian perestroika and glasnost. So it was the right film at the right time. I haven't seen Threads, and I hear it's absolutely savage, but I do remember The Day After making a big impression. And it is the quintessential American narrative of the apocalypse, isn't it? And so different aesthetically. Anyway, thanks for that, because I wasn't remotely aware of that film, and it is people sort of say this in a joking way, oh, it's a terribly important film, but I do think that is a genuinely important film. Yeah, and well worth watching. Once. I agree. You need a bottle of brandy though. Savage. Had some boobs and all, didn't it?
Allan?
I wasn't expecting the nudity. I was thinking, good Lord. But dare I said, it wasn't titillating. Clearly. Right, anyway, what do you think?
It's very much a film. I totally agree with everything that you both have said about it. It's a really hard watch. It's beautifully draped in that sepia tone, and the constant noise. Just it starts to irritate you, and you think, well, it made me think that I worked on cruise ships for a long time, and people would complain about the noise of the engines, and I was like, what engines? Because I've become used to it. So we're joining these characters for 90 minutes, and we start to notice the noise, whereas they will be totally impervious to it, and the constant booms in the distance and things like that of stuff going on, and the confusion, not knowing what is going on, not having any form of news as to whether the war is actually continuing, if it's finished or what. There's so much going on that you just have to travel along with them, and as an audience member, we expect those questions to be answered, but we might not necessarily get them from this one, because it's a film that actually kind of breaks the rules in a way. It's where it's also dour and horrendous to watch. There's actually the oddest light moment. Like there's the little bit where the professor goes to see a doctor, and he gives him some advice to take a a holiday up into the mountains, and they both share. Yeah. And they have a laugh about that, and it just that just unloads so much. That's probably the first time they've laughed in years. And it's about something it's quite serious. Of your health is actually something that's funny in comparison to everything else that's going on there. And then the very intense dialogue sequences between the characters are broken up with these voyages outside, and you get to see what the world is like as the professor's running across the destroyed world and stepping over the bodies and things like that as the wind blows, and you can smell it, you can taste it, you know how cold it is and how dangerous it is, and there's tanks going around and people burning and things, and it's just there's no relief for these people, and it really just makes you think, good God, we sit and play video games and watch zombie movies and think, how cool would it be, for a zombie outbreak? I'm prepared for it, I'm all ready. And it's like, no, you watch something like this and Threads, and I reviewed on my website a couple of weeks ago, No Blade of Grass, which is another film with a similar tone to it that I always thought was a post-apocalyptic Mad Max style movie, because the hero has an eye patch and a firearm, so that must be cool. But then you realize, no, that they're telling it from a realistic point of view of how society collapses. And even now, more so than some Russian people during the 1980s, whenever they were recovering from communism and stuff, and the Iron Curtain was coming down, that they were still suffering. Imagine what we would be like without our Nintendo and without our McFlurries and match tea and stuff. We would last two days at most. We'd be taking our lives.
And then then they had Chernobyl on. As this film was being made, Chernobyl happened. God love them. Yeah.
I had that to get to, but it's a very valid point. No, you're fine. You're fine. Because the world then turned around and paid attention to that, and that's where, as you mentioned, the day after, which I always say is a Steve Guttenberg movie there, just to get throw people off the scent there. That kind of thing just scares the pants off people. But this is, I think this is much more intense than that movie. I
agree.
And they've stepped up the art direction here a great deal more. And I'm glad I've seen it. It took me 3 goes to get through it. I didn't sit and watch it all in one because I had to go and clean my teeth after a while. It's like, this is leaving such a bad taste. Well, like,
I get that. It's a sort of film that does make you feel like there's sort of grit in your eyes and soot in your ears, doesn't it? It just has such grunge about it.
And you walk up to your tap and turn on your tap, and you just thank it for being so clean and
clean water.
So useful.
You don't have to use a jury-rigged bicycle to power up a bedside lamp and things.
No. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. The one thing I did think that underground, it would be warmer than on ground as well, so they wouldn't be cold. And I think that's one thing that I could take away from it, is they're not freezing, even though it is Russia.
Quit your whining!
They had lots of clothes on, mind you. That was one of the things. Everyone seemed to have lots of clothes on, and blankets around them, and hats on, and scarves on. But certainly the children did. And then suddenly there's this naked woman there. And that's what I was confused about, was everyone else was frozen, and she was clearly very warm.
Yeah. It was bizarre, and it's thrown in there, and it's not for gratification or anything like that.
No,
it is
certainly not.
It's entirely because that's the character.
Shannon Tweed was offered the role, but she turned it down apparently.
But yes, she said it was a wee bit too much for her. Yeah. No, we could do some scoring. Yeah, let's see how we did with this. Allan, go for it. Out of 10.
Okay.
I'd give it at least 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not meant to be enjoyed. So, I mean, once we put that out there,
I found it really difficult to score because I couldn't. I think I probably said this before. It's like, what are we scoring this for? Because if it's in terms of enjoyment or entertainment or factual accuracy, or what is it that you're giving it 8 for? And I'm inclined to give it 2 for, because I just didn't enjoy watching it particularly. It was, but I don't know, and so I'll go somewhere in between, I suppose, and say 5.
No, you can go from your heart, because if you sit down and watch a comedy because you want to be entertained with witty lines and things like that and funny scenarios, and it doesn't have comedy in it, it's not a comedy. Whereas you know what this is whenever you're sitting down to watch it. You know what's going to be a very intense drama about a potential end of the world and someone's vision of what it's going to be like. And it's just not designed to be entertaining in any way. So you take that out of it, but you still, if you can still get through it, and it still makes you ponder and think about things. No one's ever going to really go back and watch this on repeat. It's not Smokey and the Bandit 2, but it's still a film that you do get through and feel better for it.
I didn't.
Having gotten through it.
I didn't feel... No, I just felt annoyed, really, that I had to sit through it. And at the end of it, I thought, I could have done without that in my life, really.
Ted, it's time for you to announce that you're leaving now.
Yeah. All right, then I'll stick with my 2 then. What are you going to give it, Gareth?
I'm going to go with 8. I think Allan's on the nose there. I had thought 7, but talking to the two of you and Ted, your comments as well has made me push it up, because it was what I was expecting. I suppose maybe not as intense as I was expecting, because I have watched Stalker, and it didn't quite replicate Stalker.
Stalker's different. Stalker's it's a metaphysical sort of spiritual sci-fi odyssey, a bit like Solaris, but it has the same sort of mise-en-scène, doesn't it? With the ruins and the concrete and water and everything like that.
Yeah. But when you're watching it, you're not expecting Mad Max 2. You're expecting something with more dramatic poise or whatever.
Yeah, it's a whole different sensibility. Yeah, it is exactly. Okay, something totally unique.
That gives it a total of 18 then, by my calculations, which puts it exactly in the middle, along with Justified, Mr. Harrigan's Phone, The Big White, A Town Called Hell. Can't remember that one.
Oh, that was the one with Robert Shaw. Telly Savalas, Western.
Oh, yeah. Right, okay. Well, anyway, it's in the middle, right in the middle of the table. It would have been higher, but for me and my honesty...
You grouchy bastard.
Yeah. Thank you for something different. Anyway, Gareth, that was great to have something different and interesting. Yeah, so we're not just going down the road of bloody American comedies.
100%.
Allan.
Yes, sir.
I have got a bit of bad news for you, because on the next show, which you won't be on, Gareth and I, incidentally, from here on in, where there's just the two of us, if we continue with private screening, Gareth and I will score things out of 15 so that we can continue with the total 30. But on the next show...
I'll allow that, yes.
That's very kind of you. But if you pop back in from time to time, we'll obviously change that back to 10s, and we'll...
Lovely. Okay, cool.
But during the last fortnight, I have started watching Pluribus, and I know that you're a big fan, Allan, and on the next show, you're not going to have the chance to feed back with us on it. So if you could submit your thoughts in writing, we'll certainly take them on board and read them out on the show. But I think it's almost coming to an end now. I think there's 9 episodes. I think the penultimate one is on Boxing Day in 2 days' time. And so I think, Gareth, you and I should try and get through as much as that as we can now, because it's coming towards an ending towards the end of the year. Are you okay with that?
Okay. Yep. I'll give it a go. Yep.
Okay.
Broadly speaking, are you enjoying it?
Yes, I am, and I don't think it's as good as some of his previous work, but I do think it's really good and it's a really interesting idea. Let's say no more. But yeah, do drop us a line, Alan, and we'll read out your thoughts on the next show.
Nice. That's nice. Okay, cheers.
Now, theme treats. We decided that as the wimp behind the sofa's clearing off, the coming year, we're going to take our opportunity and use the theme of horror. So 2026 will be the theme treats year of horror, and the trick for me will be trying to pick something that Gareth doesn't know like the back of his hand as we go forward. But anyway, we'll do that next year. We'll have a horror theme in theme treats. But the last one of the current lot, which is directors, lay with you, Gareth. So introduce away.
Well, yes, I thought I'd end this theme on a low. Because Jess Franco is a well-known director in a certain circle. Not everybody is aware of him. Most people who are aware of him are probably aware of him for the wrong reasons, because there's an awful lot of hardcore pornography that he tends to throw into his films. But he has made proper movies, and proper movies that have a particular style to them. Jess Franco is on record as saying that he openly despises his own movies and claims that he doesn't think he's ever made a good film. So we're off to a good start. And I thought we'd actually start with Allan, because I'm quite interested by what he's picked.
Well, so I was expecting another kind of like jiggle fest, and I say that with some enthusiasm. I only really got watching Dracula versus Frankenstein and made it sort of through about 40 minutes of that. And as you're aware, we had less time to play with today than anticipated. So, but I don't understand what all the fuss is about in the negative side of things. What I was looking at was the work of a very, very passionate and talented filmmaker, clearly battling against, a very tight budget. But in the 35 minutes of that movie, I don't think there was more than 2 lines of dialogue. So first of all, that tells you that it's cinema. Secondly, I was really impressed with how much...
Can I stop you just for 1 second? Is this Dracula versus Frankenstein from 1971?
Yeah. Is that not his movie?
You didn't direct?
Oh, bollocks.
That's probably why it's a good movie.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, to have dropped the ball so badly. At least I had the courage of my convictions to kind of like actually go, well, what I was watching was pretty good. So I'm sorry I have cocked that up. So then
this is the one with Lon Chaney Jr., isn't it?
I don't know. It had Dracula and Frankenstein in it.
It is.
And, and a rubber bat. And oddly enough, I just made a little Dracula movie with a mate, and the first 10 minutes of that had so many shots that corresponded to our little skit as well, and I hadn't seen the Dracula versus Frankenstein one, so I've put that in the show notes as well. It'll give you a giggle. My actor is a 81-year-old man, and we had joked about him, becoming the undead soon, very untastefully, and he agreed then off the back of that, and it was around Halloween that we'd do something sort of, vampiric together. So there that is. My apologies, Gareth. I then did watch a little bit of a clip from Lesbian Vampires. I think it's called Lesbos. And I have to say, it was blooming brilliant. I had to watch the shizzle out of that. Now, it was a little clip. It was an extract of a very beautiful woman, brunette vampire, serving a very beautiful blonde woman some wine. But it was very erotic, and there was no clothes being taken off. It was all just supercharged kind of eye lines, and it was sexy as get out. So I thought, this looks good. Now, I will maybe get a look at some of the absolute shizzle that he did, but I have to say, what little I've seen that was his work was really good, and I'm sorry for putting my foot in it and getting the actual text wrong.
Well, no, you did quite well there. Vampiros Lesbos is one of his best movies.
Yes.
And I think it might have won awards or has gotten at least some release that is of note.
Yes.
I think he's in it as well. Memories.
Right. Okay. Oh, yes. And I did get a quick look at a sort of resume of the woman with no face or something like that. What was that called? Is it Faceless from '87?
The one with Tales of Alice and
yes,
Brigitte Lahane, yeah.
And Robert Mitchum's son, Chris Mitchum, is it?
Chris Mitchum, yeah.
And that looked good. I mean, it didn't look great. It looked like a low-budget horror film, but it looked like a low-budget horror film that had been made by somebody passionate about cinema. So I have to say, I kind of thought, well, I was expecting absolute nasty drivel, but what I did find that was, was good. It was pretty good, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, that's good. You disagree with him that he has made some good movies.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. Just to make anything is an achievement, and I clearly thought that there was definitely talent there. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I thought your skit was really funny. And
bless you, man.
It's taken me 200 shows to realise that you've got a YouTube channel and you've got some stuff on it.
Well, I now have a new subscriber, one Salmon, I believe, one Lord Salmon. So thank you very much for that, man. That's very good of you. Thank you.
It's a shame that because my pick is from Jess Franco, but it's also got Dracula in the title. And I was looking through the swathes of soft porn bollocks that were, the rest of the stuff which no wonder he hates all his own work sort of thing, because it's just all crap as far as I'm concerned, because it's just tits and arse and soft porn. So I was looking for something that was not, and I asked Gemini, said, right, what has this person directed that is not like that? And she came up with Count Dracula 1970. So it's only a year later than your one, but it's in the same era. And I thought it was really stylish. And I thought that Gareth, who I spoke to in the week about it, and he said that he wasn't really aware of it or hadn't watched it anyway. And I think that, Gareth, you'd really like it. It tells pretty much the same Bram Stoker story that we've got used to, really. It's quite dated, as you'd imagine. 1970 is a long time since then, but it's pretty well acted for the day. The music is a bit off-putting at some points, I have to admit. It kind of grates on you a bit, and there's a bit of handheld camera which is not very helpful. But when it drifts into this kind of pipe organ music to add effect in the kind of atmospheric scenes, that takes off then, and it's really good. It has a lot of impact for the scenes that's going to make a, we're used to gothic kind of music in these types of films, but I just thought that when they moved away from the boring music and got into the pipe organ music, it worked really well. I thought that much of it was dubbed, but I don't know, Gareth, you can correct me on this. I mean, I can't see Christopher Lee being dubbed and speaking Italian in it. Am I wrong there?
No, it probably was dubbed. Whenever they had Italian actors, they relied on the dubbing, because that all sound was done offset anyway. Okay. So they would even get the Italian actors to count to 10 and then get a dubbing artist to just put anything in, over the top so that they were speaking, and they would write the script as they were dubbing it.
Okay. Right, Klaus Kinski pops up as the locked-up Renfield, and he's really good. He plays his part really convincingly and interestingly. Christopher Lee, I found as Dracula, he was... I've got used to these Dracula figures now being really nasty, horrible, weird, completely bonkers types of characters, whereas Christopher Lee, I think he plays it very straight almost, and he just looks more like an ordinary bloke with some fangs that come out now and again. When the lawyer first comes to the castle and he gets taken into the castle, in the other adaptations I've seen, that whole beginning scene is really eerie and horrible, and there's kind of magic going on and mystery and stuff. Well, this is just like some bloke turning up at someone's house and coming in and saying, "Yeah, come in," but That's okay. It's just been done a bit differently. When you see the likes of Gary Oldman, camping it up and making a real good go of it, it's just very different. And also, I don't know if you realise this, but you were saying earlier that he pops up as an actor in one of his films. Well, he also popped up in this one. Right, okay. He popped up in this one as Van Helsing's servant. Incidentally, Van Helsing was played by the Lom, chappie? The inspector. Herbert Lom, that's him, the inspector in Pink Panther. And I was looking at this, and I was thinking, I know this bloke, and I couldn't work out who he was. And in the end, I went and looked at the IMDb and realised, of course it is. It's the Pink Panther inspector, because I didn't actually know him very well, unlike you. I still haven't seen anything anywhere near as good as the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola version, but this is really stylish for the day, and I really enjoyed it, and I really didn't think I was going to. When I put it on, I was approaching it like I was, the Russian one, thinking, oh, am I going to get through this? But actually, I got really into it, and I sat and the time flew, and yes, it's dated, but actually it's been done really well, I thought, and I really enjoyed it. And I think you would as well, Gareth.
Yeah, I'll certainly check that out on your recommendation. That he's got such a strange filmography where he's made so many fairly decent looking movies, and then he makes absolute tat in between, and even even hardcore pornography from time to time as well. And it beggars belief that he continually worked. Despite the fact he had this reputation of being, a real sleaze, not a real sleaze himself, but a real sleaze of a movie maker. And I suppose the film that I'm bringing is one that I picked up on Blu-ray because I loved the cover. It's an absolutely superb cover, and the title of it is Mansion of the Living Dead. So how could I not? And it taps into, there's an old Spanish-Portuguese series of films called Tombs of the Blind Dead that I'm slowly reviewing on my site, and it's kind of about the Spanish Inquisitors or the Knights Templar, those kind of monks that wear,
nobody expects
and they're. Yeah, that's right. This one leads into the Spanish Inquisition and how they are still there, but the majority of the film doesn't actually feature them. They only pop up at the end, and for virtually no reason at all, just to give it a plot. It's not about really the living dead, and the makeup effects are utterly terrible, where whenever they're not wearing masks, they just have lots and lots of sun cream on their face to make them look white and dead. But this is just it's an opportunistic horror film that I think he's made because he's found a hotel that is completely empty. It's called Mansion of the Living Dead, but there isn't actually a mansion in it. It's a hotel. There's a church at the end, but again, that's not a mansion. And he gets 4...
How many lesbians are in it?
4.
Good.
He gets 4 ladies to run around in this mansion out to get laid, but they also like each other quite a bit and spend a lot of time entertaining each other instead of going tourist, doing the touristy things and sightseeing. It stars his, I'm not sure if he was married to her at the time, but Lena Rome, who was his wife after a time. Because he was married to someone else for many years, and then he married her. I don't know what happened with the first marriage. I don't know that much about him. But and there were I suppose there's 5 other ladies in this this hotel. But the film is it contains a large amount of lady on lady action. In between, it has little scenes of the likes of Eva Leon playing a lady who is chained up and starved, and then given a plate of coleslaw to eat, and she kind of just gets it all over herself as she's eating it down whilst naked. And you're like, is this supposed to be erotic or
coleslaw porn?
What?
That is a genre I was not exposed to.
And then there's the bum fluff, which I couldn't help myself.
Right.
Lena Rome, who's the star, During a very important scene, she gets out of her bed, hears a scream in the distance, and walks around the hotel completely stark naked, trying to investigate what this noise was. And the camera follows her from behind, but she has a tiny little bit of fluff between her butt cheeks that she's picked up from the bed.
It could be coleslaw.
Well, no, this is proper black fluff. Possibly,
Lord.
you know, because the beds weren't vacuumed or something. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
But she walks around with this there. And Franco did not think, we need to go and shoot this again. That
This
doesn't
could
look
put me
very
off
nice.
porn films and coleslaw all in one fell swoop.
It's not a film to enjoy for the eroticism.
No.
It starts out quite well, and one of the ladies is hot as get out, called Elisa Vela, who plays Katie. She is gorgeous. But the plot starts in the last 10 minutes, and you see the Spanish Inquisition coming along and being all violent, and they do their thing, and then the film ends on a bit of a downbeat ending, on a not cliffhanger, but a sort of
slightly fluffy ending.
Yeah, and it's at the runtime, I think it's like 70 minutes long. You're still going, oh God, hurry up! No, it's not. It's 93 minutes long, but it felt like it was a lot longer.
Wow.
Because nothing really happens, and it's just poor. It really is. It's a mind-bogglingly poor film that I would advise anyone who, unless they really like bum fluff, don't bother with this. The cover for it is the best bit. Download the poster if you need it and hang it up on your wall or something like that, but don't bother with the rest of the film. It's garbage.
It's really hard to do an erotic scene well, I think, because if it's not done well, it's just going to look cheap and exploitative and really dull. And it's tough. That's one of the things I did admire about that little sequence from the Lesbos, vampire thing. It
All 15
seemed
minutes, and then you were done.
Yeah, it was just seemed to understand, like that less is more in that sort of situation, and bum fluff and coleslaw and protracted nudity. Just, it's, you're there for a story, actually, in most instances. So
yeah. Most of this doesn't make sense either. It's just like, we've got used to the pool today. Let's film something in the pool. Dead body, that'll be scary, right? There we go. Not that it actually fits into the storyline at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Yeah, just sounds really lazy and exploitative. Yeah. Yep.
And that's what it is. So, Jess Franco, I don't think is a big hit. Although you two seem to have come away better than I did.
But I watched the wrong film. I actually ended up watching something by Orson Welles.
But you'll come back to Vampire of Lesbos.
Yes, I hope so. Possibly after this.
Very interesting. Another interesting choice from young Gareth. So thanks for that. Now, on the next show, it's going to be show 201, and we're going to be into our 2026 horror theme. In my turn to pick, obviously, and Gareth, you need to choose between two, which is something we sometimes do and sometimes don't. I spotted a film from 1960 called Eyes Without a Face, which is a film about a girl that's in a car accident and disfigured, and the surgeon works tirelessly to give her a new face. I don't know if you know that one, but there's another choice, which is called Traumatica, which was from last year, which is a short film, but it looks like it's a bit more kind of up your street to some degree, to do with demonic possession and forces taking hold of people. But I quite fancy both of those. For the 1961, for the kind of dated black and white thing, which could be quite surprising, or this one, as I say, that's just kind of quite recent. What do you pick?
Eyes Without a Face, no competition.
Oh, right. Do you know it?
No, I don't.
Cool.
That floats my boat a great deal more than the other modern horrific nonsense.
I watched the trailer for them both, and the Eyes Without a Face one was fantastic.
It does look like it's
French
quite a
too.
good one.
Yeah, it looks really, really interesting and unusual film.
Les yeux sans visage.
Oui, monsieur.
Right, okay, we'll come back to the next show then, Gareth, and we'll talk about Eyes Without a Face, 1960. Anyone that wants to see that in the group, then do so, and let us know your thoughts, and we'll bring those to the group as well. Now, it's time for our Crimbo Xmas main feature special, and we divided this up into two parts. The first one is where we're going to talk about, we're going to try and talk about having picked an animated Christmas classic film, and I didn't realise how difficult this was going to be for someone that's not 8 years old, but it does seem to have been a little bit difficult. And secondly, we're going to go on after that to talk about our best Christmas TV episodes, like sitcom, soap, comedy show, whatever. So yeah, a two-pronged attack, and the first one is, and we'll start off with the vomit fodder. Alan, what have you brought?
Well, thank you so much. David Bowie being the vomit fodder in The Snowman from 1982, which was a Raymond Briggs short little illustrated novel, and then it was turned into an animation, and it's about a snowman and relationship between the young boy and the snowman. The snowman takes the young boy off on a kind of magical aerial tour of the countryside, and then comes back and, I'm going to spoil it for you, melts, and breaking the hearts of everyone in the nation when it was screened, I think some Christmas afternoon way back in 82 or 83 or 84, whenever it came on the TV. Absolutely heartbreakingly sad, and I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm sort of over the worst of it now, but it was a beautifully made and quite memorable show because it was bittersweet. Let's just say, leave it at that. Very nicely made. So there you go. And fronted by David Bowie, who did the narration for it.
I'm completely forgotten that David Bowie was involved in that.
Bowie.
The vomit fodder was really just a joke, but it was based on.
I know.
It was just based on the fact that it's the thing that everyone always picks because it's so synonymous with Christmas, and
it's utterly generic and a very uninspired choice by myself. But I was just glad I got there first because I would have been scuppered. Couldn't have thought of anything else.
Yeah, and that seems to have been the case for Gareth as well. Gareth?
Well, I remember seeing this and talking about it with some friends. It's the one animated film I could actually say I have seen. It's an animated Christmas film. But I remember the discussion would lean more to which version have you seen? The one with the motorbike or the one with the car? And
is that a Mandela effect?
Is it?
I'm genuinely. I'm sort of slightly snidely asking. Is that it's just a genuine different cut, or is it one of those things that people claim to recollect differently?
It might be the Mandela effect. I don't know. I'm googling now to see if I can see there's two different versions. One where he rides a motorcycle, but I can't see the one with the car.
Hang on a minute. There's another film here called The Snowman and the Snow Dog.
Right.
Is that perhaps where the other one comes in?
Jess, Franco.
No. This is
and the coleslaw.
This is the Raymond Briggs one, the same. It's called The Snowman and the Snow Dog, and it's the same 24 minutes long. But I don't know if there's a motorbike in it or not.
I'm googling now to see if anyone else has this vivid imagination. No, there's a scene on YouTube of the car, and then there's a scene with a. Right, the boy and the snowman riding a motorcycle, not a car, as in the book. Right, okay. That must be it. People are getting confused between the car and the book. But when I was growing up, people were like, there's one with a car in it. Maybe they've seen the image from the book. But yeah, I never liked this, to be honest. It wasn't my kind of thing. And it was years later, I was like, Allan Jones, that's the guy from Radio 2, isn't it? And it turns out he's a singer who sings over the top of this. I didn't know any of that.
That's right. I forgot about the famous soundtrack. That's right.
If you've been the right age, you'd have been sick of Allan Jones. Good grief.
Yeah, even at that stage.
When he was coming through Opportunity Knocked, or whatever it was, he was a talent spotted oik. And right back then, he was the kind of little oik that Grandma would like, not ordinary people. And you want to vomit over him, really. Hope he's not
the
listening.
original recording of "Walking in the Air" was sung by Peter Otley. And he's uncredited on both versions of the original 1982.
Oh, that's outrageous! Outrageous.
But Allan Jones made a hit of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he got the credit. Yeah, certainly. We're Walking in the Air, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Automatically, you think of Allan Jones, and hence my dreadful improv there a few minutes ago.
The 1982 version doesn't feature David Bowie's introduction.
Right.
So that only came out in 1984.
Oh, I see. Right. There we go.
Trivia-tastic.
There you have it. Okay. So anyway, I think we've exhausted probably the potential of that.
Well, this section wouldn't be complete without Tim Burton, and The Nightmare Before Christmas was a scrumptious animation. It really was, with the usual suspects doing the voicing, but it was just this really imaginative tale which was taken to new levels through the music, and Danny Elfman was in there doing all the music stuff, and there's songs throughout. It basically is a musical, and uncompromisingly stark animation too. This is no attempt to make things look kind of human and straight, a bit like Corpse Bride, really. That he's taken his idea of what animated creatures and characters should look like, wrapped up in this tale about this about Jack, who has to understand the difference between Christmas and Halloween. It starts off in Halloween, and it's just sumptuous. It's just brilliantly orchestrated. The music is brilliant, and every frame on it you could put on your wall. It's so artistic and lovely, and the characters they all have their own quirky behaviours and characteristics, and it's just really, really lovely. It's dark, and it's not really for young kids, I suppose, but it's just really menacingly dark, and it's just Tim Burton the whole way. I'm assuming that both of you must have at least seen parts of this or clips of it and know what I'm talking about.
Yes, well, yeah, I mean, I'm aware of it, but I genuinely don't like it because it does look a bit scary. because it is so quirkily macabre. It's not scary, it's macabre and atmospheric, and yeah, it's not really my bag. My niece went to see it, and she really surprised me by saying it is scary. Or was that the other one Tim Burton did about a... They're all in that vein. Yeah, they're all in that vein anyway. Yeah. Raymond Briggs, actually, sorry to go back to Raymond, he did do a post-apocalyptic movie, Where the Wind Blows. So that is a nice little tie into our earlier conversation. Mm-hmm. And my gosh, that was ball-bustingly bloodfest as well. That was hard watch. Yeah.
Something else.
Anyway, yeah, that was something else indeed. Okay, anyway.
Gareth, any thoughts on Tim Burton?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, haven't you? Oh, okay.
No. It's again. It's. I suppose I alluded to the fact that I went looking at lists of animated Christmas films and realised how I haven't actually seen any, bar The Snowman, which I think I was forced to watch in school.
By David Bowie.
Other than that, no.
It'll be interesting to hear. It would be interesting to hear your son's reaction to The Nightmare Before Christmas, because you quite often sit and watch stuff with him, and this is not too, outrageous for his age, I don't think. And it'd be interesting to get a reaction. I challenge you and him to sit down and watch it.
I'll maybe give it a go. Yeah, I'll give it a go over Christmas and see if he's interested in it. I'm trying to get him to watch Batman at the moment. to start his Tim Burton voyage, because I figured that would be a good way to go in, because he doesn't want to watch Beetlejuice. He doesn't fancy it, but I think after he watches Batman he might. Cool. So this could be an introduction for him to... I'll give it a go. Well, as I said, I don't know any animated Christmas movies. I can't talk about them as an authority. So I'm actually going to go with Muppets Christmas Carol because it's about as close as I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's live action, and it's probably one of the most live action Muppet films that we have because it centers around an actual human being with interacting with the Muppets as they go. But Muppets Christmas Carol was absolutely to die for. It's a delicious Christmas film that is just as funny as it is touching and well made. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is one of my favorite Christmas films. And I had a wee discussion it was a couple of years ago actually about if Michael Caine hadn't done it, who would I have preferred to see in the lead role? And that was a troublesome one, because Michael Caine has made his fair share of comedies over the time, so you kind of expect him to have a bit of a sense of humour about things. So I'd love to see someone else like Clint Eastwood or Al Pacino playing that role in this film. I think that would have been just a wee bit better. That's the only way you could improve it. Or dismantle it entirely because they probably wouldn't have done as good a job as Michael Caine. He's just perfect. But this put the Muppets back on the map after a few samey type films. I think, what was it, Muppets Take Manhattan was before this and didn't really do too well. And then Muppets Treasure Island that followed didn't do too well either. But this is a classic, and people love to revisit this at Christmas because it just nails it so well. And it's not animated, so adults can watch it too and get away with it. Cartoons with them kids. It
kind of is animated in a sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
As I've said before on this show about the Muppets, I'm just the wrong age. I don't. Muppets was not part of my growing up or my teenage years at all. It was all for people that were 10 plus years younger than me, and so I just never really watched it. I was aware of it being on Channel 4, but it was just all for kids, and so I never followed it. And I haven't seen this film. Sorry, Alan, have you?
I think I was forced to watch it, by my first girlfriend way back in the day, and it was pretty good. But she did definitely want us to watch the Muppets for some reason, and I complied as a horny youth. I just did what I was told, lest the perks be withdrawn.
Yeah,
but I have to say the Muppets are class because the characters are so memorable and funny and likable, and it was good stuff. And Kermit remains a role model to this day.
Your follow-up choice though is right in my era, Gareth, and you should have made that the primary one, I reckon.
Well, you see, I couldn't because I don't know that I have seen it. I think I've seen bits of it over the years, but I can't say with my hand on my heart that I've sat down and watched the whole thing. And that was Charlie Brown's Christmas. Ted, obviously,
yes.
You know it quite well.
Yeah.
They have a stage show in it, and that's all I can remember. And they perform in the stage show. Ted?
It's a good tale, and it's decades and decades since I've seen it. So don't quiz me on the plot or anything. But the point I was making really was that compared to the Muppets, this is 1965. So when I was 2 years old then. So when this started to come onto the television, the Charlie Brown thing was right in my era, and I remember after school watching Charlie Brown regularly. This particular film, I'd have to watch it again to remind myself of all the details. But Charlie Brown was my era, and I guess probably more so for you, Alan, as well. You're nearer to my age than Gareth.
Yeah, and like I said, role models who could have a better start in life than with Snoopy and Woodstock, especially in their roles as the Red Baron and sidekick, respectively. Yeah.
And they're so the whole thing is really character rich, but
it absolutely is. It's got a flavour that's totally unique.
Yeah, it's so well done and it's so well written, and the short TV shows I think are even more punchy than the films they've had to go at, because they have a theme and it's in and out, and a lot of these sketchy things are in a longer film just don't, you by the time you get an hour in you've kind of had enough of this, but 20 minutes and it's really good and punchy and good stuff.
Totally agree. I call that MASH syndrome or police squad syndrome. Much prefer the shorter episodes than the films, but excellent. Cool.
So that was my pick of your two choices anyway. Sorry about no support for Muppets.
No, you're fine. Well, you see, I think I've always looked at them this way, is that they have become more for children, but at the time, whenever Jim Henson put them out, it was kind of the, you got Sesame Street for the kids, and then the Muppets were a wee bit more family-focused, and the parents could get something out of it whenever they were watching it. It's a bit like The Simpsons. There were jokes that were in there that only mum and dad would get, but the kids would still enjoy being able to see the felt characters rollicking about. So
Ted and I can be the old boys up in the old boys up in the box. You go, hey, where's it? What's this thing?
Stantler and Waldorf.
Yes, that's us. Yeah.
You see, I wouldn't have stood a chance knowing their names, but I when you said it, I could picture where they were in the box.
They were good, and it is true that they've thought through very carefully, like, we'll have to have a character in here that the older people in the family can relate to, and the young ones, and there's the sort of wacky ones, and and that was all put together. It was great stuff.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, Gareth, let's leap into part 2 of this, and you tell us some Christmassy TV episodes that we will be able to identify with.
Well, I've gone somewhat Britishy. I think I've mentioned it before on the show, actually, but I think one of the best Christmas events in TV sitcoms was The Office Christmas specials, the 2 parts that rounded off The Office's UK season or series. It brought together 2 of the characters. It had warmth and heart, despite the fact it was hilariously funny. And it defies logic that there was such a really well placed romance happening in that TV series that you wouldn't have expected the first few episodes whenever you're getting in there, and it all culminates in something in a moment between 2 characters that is beautiful on screen. And even the other characters, as twattish as Ricky Gervais's David Brent might be, you identify with him whenever he just turns around and gives a warm smile to the camera as 2 characters get together. And I just think it's a beautiful Christmas send-off and a finale to the series, and I can't recommend that series enough, and it just got better. I know, Ted, you're not a big fan of the Office and Extras.
No. No, I like Extras.
One over the other.
I do like Extras, yeah.
But I do think that you should revisit them again and go through it and watch those last 2 episodes. And they were events that I got really behind. I was really excited about part 1 and part 2 whenever they were being played over Christmas. And I think one of them went out, was it Boxing Day and the other went out a couple of days later. And you just waiting, or maybe it was the next day actually, you're just waiting to find out what happens, because there was a bit of a cliffhanger in it as well, and how they're going to bring these characters to a close, because we all knew that this was the last that they were going to make of it until the Americans took it over and then made 12 seasons of fairly decent TV, but nowhere near as good as the 3 seasons that we got for this. You guys know The Office and its Christmas specials then?
I don't know the Christmas specials. I always admired the sort of quality of writing and performance of The Office, but I just couldn't get into it. But I did very much like Extras. Thought it was much funnier. Yeah. I could just relate to it better.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah,
they tell me that I can't appreciate The Office because I haven't worked in a situation that's similar enough. I have worked in offices, but not similar enough to what was going on there to appreciate the cringeworthiness of the central character. And I have tried, Gareth. I've tried to watch The Office 2, 3, 4 times, and I watch one episode and I watch a second, and by the end of the second, I've realised I'm just not laughing. It's not funny for me.
Well, okay, each to their own. You're missing out, unfortunately. Well, the next one I wanted to mention is one that doesn't make too many lists, but I think it's worth people investigating because the TV series is just so beloved, and I think it gets funnier every year, is A Christmassy Ted, the Father Ted Christmas special that sees a Luda-priest getting lost in the largest laundry shop in Ireland.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It is. It's far too funny. And it opens with the spoof from, was it Ballykiss Angels with Stephen Tompkinson and Dervla, what's her name?
Kerwin.
Kerwin, that's the one.
Yeah.
And it just pays on all thrusters. It's an hour long, if memory serves, and I didn't know at the time. I was getting ready for a half hour or maybe even 25 minutes of Father Ted, and it just kept going and going, and I loved it. It was terrific, and it was directed by Declan Lawney, who I got to meet a couple of times because I worked on a film that he directed a number of years afterwards, and I thought he was great. I was like, oh, he did that particular episode that I loved so much.
No, it's nice for you, man.
A great Christmas episode, and you two have both seen this. Ted, you definitely watched.
I know the script. Father Ted, all of Father Ted, I know the script too. So much so that I can when I'm flicking through and looking at something to watch to pass the time in the evening, I look at Father Ted and think, oh no, I can't watch it again. I know it too well. It's that kind of knowledge of it. But yeah,
yes,
it's great.
The same with Blackadder. You know, I used to know.
Yeah,
my wife and I used to listen to them all on audio tape, and you knew every line and every inflection, and with good reason. I hear you're a racist now, Father.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us nicely into my third pick here, because it doesn't get much chit-chat, and I think it's largely forgotten, but Blackadder's Christmas Carol is one that I adore as well. It's a, an alternate Christmas Carol story where he starts out incredibly happy and giving and things like that, and over the course of the story he turns into Scrooge, which is just such a simple change, but hilarious change as well. And all of the frequent performers that you see throughout the seasons, they have beautiful little cameos and things like that, and roles throughout. And again, it's a longer one as well. If memory serves, it's 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And it's you just get into it and you just enjoy that special event. And I'd love them to do something like that again, but I don't want them to do something like that again. And there's so many quality lines in it, like, well, baste my steaming puddings. Just something I like to say.
Yeah.
That is good.
Cool. They did try and do a bit more. They did that, what was it called now? They had this futuristic segment of it where Blackadder had come under the control of Baldric, and it was all turned around.
That was the Ghost of Christmas Future, yeah. They went and saw how things would turn out.
Oh, is that in this one? No, that's not in this one, is it? Oh, right.
Well, there was Blackadder back and forth where they travel back in time.
Yes,
stuff,
that's what I was thinking of.
This one where Baldric's there in his leather codpiece, and
no coleslaw.
Turns up and he's got an eye patch on and things like that. No coleslaw, thankfully.
Right. I think that pops up in back and forth as well, doesn't it?
Might do. I can't remember. I haven't seen back and forth in a long time.
Anyway, yeah. You've got 2 out of 3 of my votes for your little selection. So well done indeed.
Well, what have you got then?
My first one is a 5-minute comic relief sketch that was put out on the back of the Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin. And they did it. They basically. I mean, you need to be a Reggie Perrin fan to kind of hook into this. Really, it's on YouTube to watch, and it's really poor quality. But you get the idea. And they basically have the front room of Reggie Perrin, and it's Christmas Day, and all of the main characters drop in, and there's a message going on about capitalism and gift giving and what to give away, and it ends up with Reggie giving away all his worldly goods to a tramp, and it's just really funny. But as I say, you've got to be a fan of Reggie Perrin to understand it, which I was. I absolutely adored Reggie Perrin. I've spoken about that on the show before, so I won't bang on about it again. The Christmas lunch.
I love CJ. I felt that way about CJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at where I am today, Reggie. Man. Yes. All that stuff. Brilliant.
1, 2, 3, 4. Make them sweat outside the door. The Christmas lunch incident was the Christmas episode of The Vicar of Dibley. Much as I usually don't like this kind of tired BBC comedy, I have to admit that the 1996 Christmas special of The Vicar of Dibley was actually really good. And the storyline was just engaging, and it took in all the characters as she went round everyone's houses, and they all thought that she was going for Christmas lunch with each of them, and she ends up having about 10 Christmas lunches with all the different people. And it's just really well done, really funny, and light entertainment from the BBC, but a good a good episode. Aware of that one?
No, I've never watched Vicar of Dibley.
Oh, okay.
Didn't like the Vicar of Dibley. It was just a bit twee, but I have to say, I do think Dawn French is very, very likable. You know, it's just wasn't my thing, but I definitely see that she's quite lovely and sweet.
Yeah, and the show is very character rich as well. That you take any one of the characters in the show, and they've been very well written, and they've got their quirks, and it just all works really well. The same is true of Him and Her. Now, this is one that goes under everyone's radar. This is a 2012, 10 to 13, I think it is, TV show, and it's just really funny. It's really simple. It's about this couple who live in this flat together in London. They're complete wasters, on the dole, don't have jobs, and it's just a daily in and out of their lives. And each episode, there's something funny going on. The Christmas special 2012 is not particularly well written or a great Christmassy feel to it. It's just that they're all giving each other presents. And I watched it again last night. Russell Tovey's in there. Seri Soleimani plays Becky. Kerry Howard plays Laura, the horrible sister of Becky, and she was in the Reggie Perrin stuff as well. Not the original, but the new one. With Martin Clunes in it, Ricky Champ, who's in some of that stuff we were talking about on the last show. What was it? The Shaun of the Dead.
Right, yes.
Right, yeah, okay.
So he plays this completely bonkers boyfriend of Laura, or it might be husband. Then Joe Wilkinson turns up and as this kind of revolting neighbour from upstairs, and he's just horrible and revolting. And Joe Wilkinson is the guy that pops up in some other comedy shows, including some of the Channel 4 kind of panel shows, and he's really funny. And he's worked with, he was in Afterlife, wasn't he, with Ricky Gervais? And right, yeah. He was the postman. Anyway, the same is true of this show, really, is that the strength of it is in the characters, and each one is so incredibly well written with their own quirks, and it's just cringeworthy, and just you watch it and you think, oh good grief, no, don't do that, don't say that. And anyway, it's a really good show, and everyone's missed it. It's called Him and Her. Track it down is my advice.
Okay,
very good.
Alan,
you spoke about this before, actually. I vaguely remember you liked this.
Did I?
So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I think you did. Yeah.
I'll stop boring you now then.
Well,
Move on.
Let me take up the mantle then. So Eric and Ernie Christmas Special 1983 is my offering, not because I remember that in any particular way, but just because the Eric and Ernie Christmas Special was as much a part of Christmas as getting a Terry's Chocolate Orange or hoping that Where Eagles Dare was going to be on and rummaging through the Radio Times a month ahead with a red barrow to see if you could book that slot. So I've put a couple of wee links there to this, and Top of the Pops from Christmas Day 1987, which I suspect I did watch with the same Muppet-fixated girlfriend at the time. And oddly enough, when I was checking out the Eric and Ernie thing, it's just really, really sweet and very funny, and they were very talented and just such a staple part of, the weekend and certainly the holiday times. It's almost like Long Lost Uncles whenever I watch it now. And so I don't watch it now because it makes me feel nostalgic and a bit sad. Top of the Pops just makes me feel a bit randy and a bit sad. Because especially you watch that one again, you think, gosh, she was gorgeous, and you remember that track, and of course it brings back all the memories that associated with being sort of 17 or 18 whenever these songs came out. But nearly every one of the songs in the Christmas Day 1987 show that I've linked there are ones that you remember. Normally when you revisit Top of the Pops, you kind of go, don't remember this, don't remember that, or remember them, but I don't remember this song, etc., etc., etc. And there's one or two. This is chock full of all the hits of the day. So sentimental fun. And again, that was quite a big event. The Top of the Pops Christmas Day special was a wee bit of stuff that, you would definitely sit around and enjoy that 25 minutes or half an hour or whatever it was. So those are my two modest little contributions.
They used to have part one and part two. They used to have Top of the Pops Christmas Day part one and then Boxing Day part two. And, and they used to pack those out. Well, some years anyway. But
I was busy packing her out, mate.
What's interesting also about YouTube is that they seem to have every single episode of Top of the Pops on there. I was watching one the other day from a different year and reminiscing. And if you just want to reminisce, you just go and search for Top of the Pops, pick the year you want, and some bugger has uploaded it. And you can just
great.
It's absolutely great. You can spot to see which artists are still alive and which ones are not, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
I also find some really great music that I had never come across at the time. We weren't allowed to watch it. It was far too carnal.
Yeah.
It was definitely bad. I think Dad occasionally checked it out for quality control.
You can also do that with the old grey whistle test, because the old grey whistle test, even more so, finding music that you just never heard of, and that was great.
It was a bit more discerning. That was the musicians' show, whereas Top of the Pops was just for, it was a popular show.
Yeah.
Legs and co. Dear Lord.
There you go then. There's our best Christmas special TV episodes and all that sort of stuff. Right, let's move on. Coming soon. Have we got a selection of coming soons, Gareth?
Certainly do. And we're going to start off. No, we're not doing any more shark movies for this year. You're done with the shark movies. Yeah. The first one is Killer Whale. This is a killer whale movie that follows best friends Maddie and Trish as they find themselves trapped on a remote lagoon with a dangerous killer whale named Ceto, C-E-T-O, however you want to pronounce that, because the name is important. They have to get that into the plot line, it would appear. Hopefully this is going to be a giant fish movie that is going to, kill it at the box office. I love these things. Whenever you feel really, really down or whatever, or you've had a crap day, there's nothing better than a giant sea beast eating people to cheer you up.
Well, you must have had a particularly bad day for this to be, a step up. Because this looks absolutely shitacular. Even by the standards of shark and hottie movies. It looks like it was shot in somebody's garage in front of a green screen. I don't want to be mean, but it's not original, and it's not particularly well executed. It just has hotties in it. So we're kind of back to the guy that we started off with, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's
Jess Franco,
isn't it?
It's in the spirit of Jess Franco.
There was one scene at the end where there's a shark going past the behind this girl in the water, and that's just so obviously a crappy, like you say, Alan, garage green screen. Yeah, I do agree with you. It's also one of these films where watching it halfway through, starting watching it halfway through, would be a good idea, because it looks like, and I've said this before about these types of films, the first half of it is about these teenagers and they're having this party and getting to know and you just don't need to know any of these characters.
Yeah.
Just get to the halfway point where the action starts, and then it might be all right then. I don't know. It could be fun. It depends on how the suspense is done, I think.
Halfway through the trailer, I was going, eat them already!
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I know whenever it even comes to the trailer takes a while to get going, and it's only 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to translate to I imagine it's going to be 80 minutes at a push of the full running time, but I've got a funny feeling 60 of them will be that setup, and then Munchies will be the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we'll move on to something that, Alan, this will be a bit of a send-off for you because you're going to enjoy this one. It's called Disclosure Day, and it's directed by a little fella called Steven Spielberg. It's written by a little fella called David Coep, and it stars Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Eve Hewson, and Colin Firth, who I spent most of the film, or most of the trailer going, is that Colin Firth or Tim Robbins? I can't quite make it out. Oh, Wyatt Russell's in there as well. It's Kurt Russell's son. What did you think of this big, lavish sci-fi that's coming soon?
Going with Ted first?
Okay. I'm not really sure what's what in this. The trailer, but that might be a good thing, because as with other good sci-fi things, they don't want to give too much away. But the trouble with Steven Spielberg lately is that I saw him being interviewed a few times, and he's kind of gone from being atheist to agnostic, and now he's all bloody religious, and it's obvious from this trailer that he's going to stuff as much religion in as he can. Emily Blunt, I think, is getting what?
I didn't get that at all, but carry on.
Okay. Did you see all the nuns and the?
Well, yes, but that's how they would take it. But the disclosure is, I'm taking it's like David Icke style reptilian people that are hiding or Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something like that.
But they didn't need to include religion in that. Anyway, the point is that's the way Steven Spielberg is going. If you watch his more recent work, and I don't know what's going to happen with the ending, because we said that. Oh no, that was Stephen King, wasn't it? Anyway, right. Stop interrupting me. Emily Blunt is, I think, getting stronger, and I like her. The more I see her in things, I think that she's really good as an actress, and I think she's going to be developing even more, and I shall look forward to her path in her career. But sci-fi is for Allan.
It is, as are UFOs and extraterrestrials and extraterrestrials and all that good stuff. So we've talked before about Spielberg doing Taken way back in the late 90s, I think, which at the time was the most expensive piece of television ever made. And it actually took the subject very seriously. It was very well researched. It was a good show. And it took, I think, 3 seasons or something like that to kind of go in depth into the abduction phenomena, military-industrial complex, and yada, yada, yada. And it was done very well. This, to me, looks a little bit disappointing and a little bit creepy as well. It insofar as within the first second or two, you've got, you see, welcome to my crazy world. Just put on your tinfoil hat just for a second, and if you don't have one, I'll send you one shortly from my vast collection. But within the opening few frames, you've got monarch butterflies, mockingbird jays. You've got an all-seeing eye, and it's being released on the 6th of the 6th, 26. Anybody in my crazy neck of the interwebs would immediately go, right, well, there's subtext to the gills in this, and there's a lot of kind of occult stuff about mind control and all that. Just in this. And also, did you notice the CGI deer that are in everything? Just like the creepy Obama film. that we watched last year about 2026, you know, whatever it was about black and white people fighting and elks walking around and planes falling out of the sky.
Civil War.
Gosh, that was a wretched thing as well. So I don't know what is going on in this, but it looks, to me, it just looked a bit annoying. It didn't, and it looked a bit plastic visually. I just thought, Close Encounters has 10 times the visual heft of this at first glance. So I was underwhelmed and slightly annoyed by the trailer.
I'm amazed you could.
Certain,
I was amazed you could work out what was going on.
No, I can't work out what's going on. I can't.
Right.
And I think the teaser trailer is good in that regard because it teases you in it, and it sort of says, interesting. And because I'm obsessed with both filmmaking and this, ETs and UFOs and all that stuff, of course I'm going to go and see it in the big cinema and learn and watch. But I'm fairly convinced that is part of a sort of drip conditioning of the general public for some revelation, which may be true or it may be horse shit in the next couple of years. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Just
fair enough. I think if Stephen is listening,
and I hope he is taking notes.
Well, he might have turned off by now. Actually, I think he's not going to take that kind of criticism of his film.
He's away to the fridge for some coleslaw.
I'd like to think this is going to be a bit of an event movie, a bit like War of the Worlds, with a big sci-fi exciting thing going on, which, this is obviously more of a teaser to give you an idea, but it's not showing you the money shots or anything like that or what have you.
This is sort of running parallel with the whole Pentagon and New York Times stuff over the last few years and the Senate hearings about disclosure. So this is building to a head in terms of just public, just setting up the public to condition them for some kind of official disclosure, whether it's a misdirect, a denial, or a revelation of some kind. That is what's happening for sure. They're getting ahead of a narrative here, and so that's part of why I'm really interested in it. But
one thing you can count on is that it's not going to happen before June 12th, whenever this comes out, because if it did happen before that would be devastating for this film's box office.
Correct, 100% with you and all that. So anyway, but that's a conversation for a different podcast.
Fair enough. Yes,
probably
right.
Rogan, I think.
Yes, I believe that's where you're going to whenever you finish this. You're taking over Rogan.
I can't talk about it.
Okay, from one film that seems a bit nuts to another one that just genuinely is nuts. Street Fighter has got a new film on its way. We all know the beloved franchise of fighting games, all the way from the arcade through the Super Nintendo to Jean-Claude Van Damme to various misfires that followed that. In 2026, October 16th of 2026, so we're getting a wee bit ahead of ourselves here. There is a new Street Fighter movie coming that looks to be, weird. It's not that it seems to be taking notes directly from the game and trying to translate them to the screen without actually trying to replicate what's in the game at all. It's a weird mishmash of stylistic choices and humor and soundtrack and things like that. It's a bit of an assault on everything that's going on. It's a weird one, this, and I'd love to know what you think of this, Ted. Have you even played the game?
Yeah, I played the game in 1992 when I had the the SNES, as you call it, and it all looks really silly. However, I do have a passing interest because after we'd finished Super Mario World, after 3 months of intensive work, we did muck about with Street Fighter, and me and my girlfriend at the time used to have fights with it, and it was quite good fun. And we got to know the characters. So if there's a character crossover going on here, which it sounds as though there is, it might be quite fun for 5 minutes. I can't see myself sitting right through it. It just looks like a load of stupid choreographed nonsense, American crap. I was thinking, didn't Kylie Minogue do one of these?
Right, that's the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So I think I probably remember watching that when it came out. I've no idea when it was, but the same thing applied then. So this is not for me, but it'll be a passing interest. Alan?
Totally agree. It's absolutely not for me. I do have good memories of the video game way back in the day. I thought the trailer was excellent, but it's just not for me. So that's that.
Well, that's I think that's exactly the point of this now is who is this for? Because we are all old now. The people who were the ones that remember that game so well. Street Fighter has moved on since those Super Nintendo days. And I don't know that we would particularly welcome the crazy direction that this has been taken in. I'm not excited about this. And
then the younger
ones, 1994 Van Damme movie has actually become more beloved over the years. It has aged well, especially whenever all of these crappy new versions come out and don't quite capture what people want to see with the audience that is available at the time. Sorry, Allan.
No, 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Who's it for? The young ones won't really get it, I don't think. And old ones will go, yeah, that was fun, but like I want to watch Dad's Army. in glorious 4K upscale at Ted's house.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Ted, it doesn't have Kylie in it. What's the point?
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Well, here's another one that doesn't have a Christmas special. I'm sorry, Ted. It's nothing to do with him and her, but it is called His and Hers. This is a new TV series that is coming to Netflix January 8th of next year, and it stars John Bernthal, him, and Tessa Thompson. Pablo Schreiber is in there as well, and a bunch of other familiar faces. And it looks to be a police detective series about a murder and who might have committed that murder, with a cop and a journalist who might be married and on their way out of being married, getting a divorce possibly, and at odds with each other as to what is going on here. And the trailer seems to want to point the finger at the two leads as to being the potential murderers.
I'm glad that you summarised this trailer, because I was looking at this and thinking to myself, I wrote these notes earlier today and I can't remember anything about this trailer. I wrote, it might be all right, seems to be decently made and acted, guess it depends on how strong the storyline is. I could go either way on it from this trailer, something or nothing, so it's a maybe from me. But honestly, I can't remember anything about it.
That's probably because it was eclipsed by the following trailer. Allan, did you get any kicks out of this at all?
Not really. I just thought it could be tolerable, generic stuff. That's
okay.
What it looked like it might be okay. It certainly wouldn't anything to enthuse about.
It's just another series for Netflix to crap out and maybe give a second season 2 and then cancel.
I think so, and I get a wee bit irked. I know this is going to sound naughty. It's not. I just get irked by the ubiquity of all the kind of box ticking, and it can't. You couldn't have a black guy married to a black woman or a white guy married to a white woman. It has to be anything on TV now. It all just has to be mixed race. And I'm just thinking, okay, that's not representative. It's not problematic, but it's problematic when every single bloody show is the same thing. It starts just feeling propagandistic. So, it's another thing. I just think I couldn't be bothered with modern television, to be quite honest, unless I'm in it.
Funny you mention that, because in the trivia, if you read the trivia, the original plan, the original shooting script had John Berthnall's character was actually played by a Triumph Dolomite, just to be PC, because a woman could marry a car.
And I'm not going to bore you or anyone else with the knee-jerk disclaimers and stuff. I just find a lot of it very predictable and sloppy and tiresome and samey. And, where were they back when it was really bold to do something like that, where if you went and did a show like Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit back in the 80s, which I thought was superb, and wholeheartedly endorsed it. And it was brave and actually meant something then.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough from the curmudgeon in the corner.
Show, but okay, fair enough. All right, the last one is Ted should get a kick out of this. We're back in Bob Odenkirk territory.
Hey!
But Better Call Saul, and it's not Nobody, it's Normal, which looks like a nice cross between Fargo and a slam bam action movie. Ted, take it away.
Well, you've summarised what I was going to say, really. The sleepy Fargo cop. And I really liked the Fargo cop that Bob Odenkirk played, Bill something, in one of the Fargo series. He was so laid back. He was horizontal. And this has taken that kind of sleepy cop and given him much of Hutch, Nobody's chaotic mind about him. And suddenly... the trailer starts off with him being just like the Fargo cop, and then suddenly he leaps into action like he's in Nobody or Nobody 2. And I think that this could work for the fans of both. And I do like the whole Fargo snowy setting feel as well. It's very nice.
Yeah, Allan?
Yeah, I mean, I was really with it until it got violent. Initially, I just kind of thought... I do beg your pardon. This looks really well observed and quirky and lighthearted and all the rest of it. And then when it went into the violent bit, I just kind of thought, yeah, I've seen this a million times. I was actually more amused and engaged when it was kind of low key. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's the whole premise of the thing, is that, beneath the sleepy exterior, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's part and parcel of the contrast that it's predicated on. But yeah, my preference would have been for a bit more of the sleepy, just kind of gentle, well-observed stuff. And there you have it. He's always good. He's always terrific. Excuse me.
You're right there, Chuck.
I'm all right. All right.
What about you, Gareth? What do you reckon?
No, I'm dead excited about this. I'm one of the biggest films of the year for me, or next year. I couldn't be more excited about this. I think it just taps that, because I love Fargo. I want more of Fargo. I want more of the action movies. And
Bruce was
you were saying about how.
Then you'd be more excited.
We can make it slow. All right. Well, we'll move on.
Yeah, and we'll move on at the risk of ending a Christmas special show on a downer, the final curtain. Well, perhaps we should have done this first this time. Gareth, who have we lost?
Well, first up is Zed's dead, baby. Peter Green has passed away, who is best known for his role in Pulp Fiction, playing Zed. He is also Dorian from The Mask, who pretty much the lead villain in The Mask as well. And he was in countless little independent films in between times. He didn't have a huge career, and he's not sort of a household name, but you certainly know his face because he was a fairly handsome actor who possessed a certain intensity to him with his fairly sort of dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. And he always played a fairly undesirable drug lord or something like that, and someone that you just did not want to be around, and he was always a bit scary and you could never trust him and things like that. So he never quite escaped that, and I think that sort of haunted him. But he did make a lot of films over the time. But having looked through, I struggled to find too many that I've seen, although I know his name very well, and I know that I have seen him in many, many things. Allan, you would probably know Peter Green quite well.
Sadly, I was not aware of him at all. I'm not a big Pulp Fiction fan. I've seen it once, I think, and I was not aware of him. Yeah, sorry to say. I will have seen him and stuff, obviously, but
I wonder what the story was, because he was only 60, and that's no age really these days. So that sounds as though it could have been a bit sad. I only know him from Pulp Fiction, Gareth. That I was not aware of him at all. And unlike Allan, I'm a huge Pulp Fiction fan, and the character he played in Pulp Fiction was really, as you described, really sinister and dark and nasty, and when he closed down the shop to take Bruce Willis and what's her name in the cellar, and it was just the whole thing was like sinister, dark, and nasty, which is very much like the rest of the film, really. But he played it really well. But that's, I'm afraid, all I know him from.
Yeah, I had a read about it whenever it happened, and his some friends had found his unresponsive body in his apartment in New York, but the coroner was to investigate to find out exactly what happened.
Right.
I'm not sure that any information has been released just yet.
Okay.
But be sure it sounds very, very tragic, if anything. Yeah. As is the name, which is a film director whose career is easily 11 out of 10, and that would be Mr. Rob Reiner, an actor, writer, producer, and director who I don't think really needs too much of an introduction, because his films are just so well known, and everybody loves at least something that he's done over the years. He hasn't directed a huge amount of films, and he's probably a better known actor than he is a director, but whenever you see the films that he's directed, like Few Good Men and Misery and When Harry Met Sally and The Princess Bride or Stand By Me, Spinal Tap, his contribution to film is insane over the years, and from what I've read as well, it sounds like incredibly tragic circumstances that both he and his wife were found murdered, having been stabbed in their home, potentially by a loved one as well, which makes it even more difficult to comprehend what is going on there. But either of you know Rob Reiner?
Before... Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on, Allan.
No, after you.
No, well, I was going to be the opposite, really, and say before this week, I honestly had not heard of him. But you're right, Gareth, because if you look down the list of films, I really should know his name, and I should. There's just tons and tons of it, and not just directing, as you say, but also actor, writer, producer, soundtrack. Just, he's an all-round. He was an all-round person to follow, I guess. Allan, your turn.
Yeah, well, I came across him through Spinal Tap, and also Princess Bride. I love Stand By Me, brilliant movie. Couldn't believe it when I heard that the other day. I just was really shocked by that, and the circumstances of the death are just absolutely dreadful. And gosh sakes, yeah, it's just the stuff of nightmares. Horrendous way to die, and goodness knows what had gone on there in the family. And I hope they get to the bottom of it. And there's nothing you can really say. It's just utterly horrendous.
Certainly is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Colossal contribution to cinema and things. Certainly, I think in the last couple of years, he became very sort of politically outspoken and controversial. That's neither here nor there. I think the death of the man was just utterly. Nobody should have to endure that. It's just dreadful.
No. Do you have any particular highlights that you would recommend people to go out and see of his movies?
Yeah, Spinal Tap, and his cameo in it as the director, Marty DeBurgi, is absolutely fantastic. I wonder who he's getting that there. And A Few Good Men. I don't think he made any bad movies that I'm aware of. Everything
North was a bad movie.
Oh, was it? Right. I don't know that one. But Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, Sleepless in Seattle. I didn't like that film, but I don't think it's a bad film. Yeah, great stuff. And I was not aware that he'd also been an actor prior to becoming a director until a few days ago as well. So, phenomenal talent.
Yeah, yeah. Ted, any recommendations?
No, I don't know it well enough, really. The things that have been mentioned already, I guess. I'm not a fan of Spinal Tap, so I don't really know that. But certainly, When Harry Met Sally, I'm aware of, and looking down the list of stuff, there's an awful lot of TV shows as opposed to films going on, and a lot of things. You're right. He was actually starring in. Sometimes short runs, but sometimes let's find an example of something. I saw something just now where he was in quite a lot of the episodes of it. So he's, as I say, All in the Family, which is clearly a very American TV show. But between 71 and 78, he made 184 appearances in that.
Wow!
As the Michael Meathead Stivic. Whatever that is. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've never seen an episode. Okay, I've never seen an episode of that, so I don't really know. So I think an awful lot of this stuff, as is often the case with me, passes me by because it's American TV stuff and not Hollywood film stuff. And where it has been Hollywood film stuff, it's probably, sadly to say, things that I'm not kind of drawn to particularly. But very sad. I was trying to work out how old he was. I think 78. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. 78, 79, something like that.
Yeah. Very sad.
Well, I wanted to throw out one film because his directorial efforts are well known, and where he's made a lot of, if he's made a good film, then everyone has pretty much seen it, like Misery and Harry Met Sally and A Few Good Men. But there was one filming that he made that kind of went under the radar, and I remember whenever it came out, it got a lot of accolade because James Woods won an Oscar for it. And Ghosts from the Past, or as it's known in the States, Ghosts of Mississippi, was a film with Alec Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg, and James Woods, and it's one of the reasons why I think Alec Baldwin is absolutely superb. It follows the murder of the civil rights leader Medgar Evers. And what happened after that, and the miscarriage of justice and things that was happening, and it's not the most dazzling courtroom drama or anything, but it's just such a solid, well-made film. And if you like those kind of legal thrillers, if you fancy raising a glass to Mr. Reiner's career, it's maybe one that you could go back and try and find just to find those films that maybe didn't get the audience at the time, because the bigger films certainly got their audience. Like he did The Bucket List with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman that came and went, but it was highly thought of whenever it arrived, but it seems to have been forgotten about now. And a lot of his more modern films have gone below the radar. And he made a terrific biography of Lyndon B. Johnson, starring Woody Harrelson, that's worth checking out too.
Never even heard of that.
It's LBJ, it's called, but it's one of those sort of big presidential biography films that you just sink your teeth into, like Nixon.
Yes, I like the Nixon one. Yeah.
Give yourself LBJ. Sorry,
I've been trying for years. It's just a couple of extra vertebrae, and what can you do?
Yeah, so it's very sad to hear of his passing, and I hope they get justice for what has happened there, and he rests very much in peace, as does his wife. Yeah. So next up is Gil Gerard, who's Buck Rogers himself. He's best known for the role of Buck Rogers. What a wonderful TV series. He did have a career before and after that, and he was a very well-known face, but it's mainly thanks to Buck Rogers. And I think we all grew up with a bit of Buck in our lives, and we're all better for it. Biddy, biddy, biddy.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ted? Do you know Gil?
I don't, and I've never seen Buck Rogers.
Oh, man.
Just looking at the dates involved there, 1979. You see, in 1979, I was just leaving home and going out and finding my first job in the big bad world. And so all of those 32 episodes in 79 to 81, I would not have been tuned into at all. And the whole Buck Rogers, I'm just the wrong age for it, as I so often say. And I'm afraid that looking up through the list of all the other things that he's been in, I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't find one thing that. Oh, Airport
Well, that's not
77. Airport 77.
Yeah, okay.
Frank Powers, he plays in that, and that's the only thing I think that I can hang it on. So yes, I'll go with that one. Alan?
I loved Buck Rogers as a show. I thought it was absolutely terrific on a number of levels, and I loved Buck Rogers and Jill Gerard, and I was very, very pleased recently when I did a wee Google search on him that he was still with us up until obviously a few days ago, and no, he was just a wholesome sort of gung ho hunky dude, and very, very likable, and I believe the show was kind of fractious. The production of it was quite difficult. But of course, none of that. You're none the wiser to any of that when you're a kid watching that show. Outstanding for him. The design of the spacecraft were particularly fabulous. The design of Erin Gray was outstandingly fabulous. And then Tweaky, the robot, who managed not to be absolutely annoying all the time. So it was great. It had also one of the finest title sequences and themes ever crafted. Absolutely glorious. So yeah, very happy memories, and thank you to Jill Gerard for those.
Absolutely, yes. And he did have a lively career after that. He kind of he slipped towards Sci-Fi Channel movies and things like that, and direct-to-video films, and his career might not have been quite so successful in the later years, but he was still a recognisable and beloved face whenever he did pop up in stuff. And I remember picking one film up. I watched it late night on TV called Nuclear Hurricane, because why not? With Jack Scalia. And Bill Gerard turns up in a small role in that as well. And I was like, no, it took me ages to put them together. I actually thought it was Lee Majors to start with because, it was just that kind of...
He had that look.
Yeah, the two of them looked a wee bit like each other, I think, in the 90s, yeah.
I was just going to say that picture of him at the top of his IMDb page, I thought it was $6 Million Man. So, you're absolutely
cut from the same cloth, really, aren't they?
Yeah. Network TV gold.
Mm-hmm.
Very sad. 82, Gil was. And that's where we've got to, really. The next show is going to be in 2 weeks' time, as always, and that will be in January. It will be 2026, and we'll be without Allan. Allan, give us your parting... Well, it's not parting. You want to come back and visit us, but your initial parting speech, and you've got 2 minutes starting now.
Well, I'll not take 2 minutes, but it was just to say thank you to our lovely audience who have listened and enjoyed and endured along with us, and we really appreciate you. So thank you very much indeed. Very best wishes to you all for 2026 and going forward. And thank you both, Gareth and Ted, for being such splendid chaps, and for the hard work that Steve likewise has put in the background for the majority of those shows, editing and so on, a mantle which you have now taken up yourself, Ted, I believe.
Yep.
Perhaps with some oversight from your glamorous assistant, Mr. Myles. But anyway, it's been a splendid chapter, and I really do hope that you'll be gracious enough to let me come back at some point in the future for another episode of Projector Room.
We certainly will. And people keeping up with anything you're doing, can we give out a website or whatever?
There's nothing. The New York office hasn't cleared all the credentials with the London people at the moment. But we'll go. If there's anything juicy to share, I will leak. Sorry for the imagery, but I will leak in Gareth's direction, and then he can pass on any details to you guys. But as I say, God willing, we'll get together for a chat, in the spring at some point.
Okay, thanks very much. And it's been
thank you, guys.
A great ride having you on board for all this time. So
you're a lovely fella.
keep an eye on what we're doing, everyone. Me and Gareth and here we'll be back in 2 weeks' time when we'll have thought out a bit more about what we're doing and where we're going forward. So MeWe group in the meantime is where we can invite you to come and tell us what you've been watching. GarethMyles.com is for Gareth and all his lovely film reviews. TedSalmon.com is for me. That's where you can find links to all of our other audio podcasts and all of our MeWe groups, links galore. We'll see you in a fortnight time and catch you in the MeWe group. So see you soon in the projector room.